I give a lot of props to coaches. I had a conversation with my community yesterday, and I was talking about the coaches. Coaches, I feel like they're just incredible because they have very little to work with to prepare for teams that they're going to play against, because they do not know who they're going to be playing against till almost the last minute. So you have to make adjustments on the fly. So Cape Verde's coach was great. I think the best coach out there according to the adjustments. I don't even know his name, but just from the way they were playing, somebody must have been doing something. I don't know. Do you know his name? But I got to give him a shout out.
Yeah, I will be able to find it for you. I haven't seen Cape Verde since 2015. I'd have to double check who their coach was.
I think he did an amazing
Great job.
Yeah, with the adjustments that Cape Verde made. And then South Sudan, there's certain, you spoke of the lineups and everything. So there's certain things that they could have done here and there, but still, you got to give props.
What I don't understand with South Sudan is they had such a big Australian contingent. Why wouldn't you have had an Australian coach on the bench who at least knew these players quite well? That's what I'm questioning.
True.
And I'm not saying he had to be an assistant coach. What make him a head coach? I'm saying he could be an assistant. He could be a consultant.
That's true. So yeah, shout outs to all the coaches out there. I think they're doing a really good job, an incredible job. So Liz, I know you're a coach. So can you please just explain to the people what it takes to actually prepare for a game in Africa? Because I know it's different elsewhere, but just explain to us.
Yeah. I think what people need to understand is how difficult it is to scout opponents in Africa. Up until 2017, a lot of these games weren't on YouTube, or you couldn't find them on the FIBA website. So there goes film analysis. You can't do film breakdown. And a lot of advanced stats are not available either. So it was really about experience and going to competitions and physically seeing your opponent play. Now, since 2017, national teams compete now in a lot more competitions. Games are uploaded to YouTube. If you've got a stats guru on your team, then they can provide the advanced stats for you. I can speak from my experience with Cameroon. We only had 5 days of a 5-day camp is what you would call it. And that's pretty much standard for most national teams outside of Tunisia and Angola, who have the luxury of having a lot of locally based players, so they can run training camps at home. But for other teams who have most of their players overseas, coaches only get access to the team for maybe 5, 6, or even 4 or 3 days before a tournament. A lot of my work is done prior to that. I download games, I break it down, looking at a team's offense, defense, who are their best players, and then I will do advanced stats analysis. I'll do all the calculations myself from the score sheet and determine, who's got the highest usage percentage, who's their best offensive player, who's their best defensive player, and calculate stuff like that. And then obviously, you sit down with your coaching staff before you even start talking to your players and decide, what are we going to run? What do we think the opponents are going to do? How are we going to break that down? So a lot of a coach's work is before the tournament, even before they sit down with the players. So now that we have technology that allows you can get on Zoom calls, you can get on WhatsApp calls, and you can have all these conversations weeks in advance. But then the hard part is taking that down to the player level and getting them to understand your vision and being able to execute your game plans. And that just depends on the experience of your players, the exposure they've had to film analysis or stats, and how they can absorb that information, and can they put that onto the floor.
Wow, that's a lot. All right, I guess that's what you got to do. All right, I did want to get into that a little more, but we promised that we were not going to take a whole lot of time today. So one last thing before we head out of here. I know Cape Verde is going to be going into Group E now, right? They made it into Group E.
That's correct.
Correct. Your predictions, who's got that?
So Group E consists of heavyweights Egypt, then very experienced Morocco, and up-and-coming Uganda.
Right.
So given the fact that Cape Verde has a lot of AfroBasket experience and they'll have their full lineup, I would say I would pick Egypt to win this group, with Morocco and Cape Verde going through with them. And I don't see Uganda qualifying for the next round.
Ooh. You know we got Albert coming sometime this week, right? I'm gonna play.
That's why the shots are fired.
I'm gonna play this clip. He's not gonna be too happy with that. All right, so let me give you my predictions. All right, I would love for Uganda to go. I would love for Uganda. Cause they're my neighbors, my neighbors. But I gotta love, just kind of a little biased. You're a little biased with Australia. I'm a little biased with Uganda, and I love what they've done so far. But here's a shocker. I'm actually going with Cape Verde.
Of course.
Yes. That's my prediction.
Look. Morocco is someone you can't overlook either. They are either going to rebuild during these qualifiers, which I don't think is a good idea. They've got some great veteran players, and they beat Egypt in the first round of World Cup qualifiers. So it really depends on what Morocco decides to do, either continue to build on what they did in World Cup qualifiers or completely rebuild, which I think would be disastrous for them. Because if they do that, I actually think Uganda will go through and Morocco will be the team to not qualify.
Okay. You know something? I do believe, I know you said Egypt, and I believe that they're a really great team. It's almost, I feel like it's a bigger Cape Verde. They play really well. They move the ball really well, and they're big. They're big. So
I think you should watch Egypt. They've got 2 7-footers, and we're not talking tall and skinny 7-footers. We're talking like I'm built 7-footers.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Egypt, they got the size. So, but they don't have the superstars. Having the size, being able, I don't think they got the superstars. I feel like Cape Verde has
Omar Arabi. Omar Arabi from Egypt was a double-double machine during World Cup qualifiers.
Well, we'll have to see about that. I'm still going with Cape Verde.
Hey, look, I like Cape Verde. I want them to qualify. I'd love to see them in Afro next year. So let's go Cape Verde.
Let's go. All right, Liz, thanks a lot. I know you got to go and I got to be out of here. But guess what? I'm going to show Albert this video.
He's coming for me.
Yes, he is. Thanks, Liz.
Thanks, Karabani.